Hey, my lovely Willow Vibes tribe members. I'm Jessica from Willow Vines Intuitive Vibes, and this is technically part two to, I think, I don't know what I'm going to call the other one. I'm wearing a blue shirt in it, and I think it's like mediumship or something, but it's going to be called something else, or that's in there because some people came through. But I got cut off when I was talking about an older female and her independence, and basically that she's slowly losing that, but she's still fully capable of doing day-to-day things and taking care of herself. But when the slow decline starts, ultimately that's when family and people need to step up. And it's almost that energy of, we know you can do it, but let me help you so that you don't have to do it all. It's like, you can handle everything yourself, but here's a helping hand so that you don't have to do everything yourself. I feel like that's why that was being brought up. So maybe some more helpful energy with that person, or that's going on for them. But anyways, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stick around. Hope you do stay. Would love it if you would. And in this one, because I was, after those messages that came through, I was going to discuss the reading that I uploaded, which was kind of going over a dream that I had, the theft dream, basically. And I was connecting dots because a lot of people in that dream, it's making me nervous again. What the hell? I think I was nervous in that video, or it's a different one tied to that or something. But anyways, a lot of the people in the dream, I know they've been in my home, whether they lived here, stayed here, visited, whatever. And these people have been around because a lot of them are tied to my children, because it's like my son's friends and crap like that. You know what I mean? The only thing I wanted to go over is not like the dream itself. It's just because if you think about it, with the basis of the dream, the people in there wanted to kill me and rob me. And the way that I'm interpreting it, because dreams are symbolic, there's a lot of symbolism in dreams. Like if you get shot at, it could be someone saying something to you, like, some type of combative energy, you know what I mean? No matter what that is, it's not literal, but the information is what it is, like that's literal, but not with me. Does that make sense? Kind of. There could have been intentions in there, but it's more along the lines of, like, for example, when the tall dude, and I'm just gonna say when TJ, because he's the tall one that I was thinking of, because he's like 6'6", 6'7", something like that. Him and the shorter dude, the little dude, the skinny one, which looked like my daughter's boyfriend. When they came in my room in the dream, they woke me up and was like, don't worry, this will be quick, they were going to kill me, kind of thing. But the symbolism of it all is, because I had even said that, TJ, he's been in trouble with the law off and on, and theft is a thing that he's known to do, But I don't feel like it was in my home. It was just he was around me and I was picking up on his energy. Does that make sense? Because that's the type of stuff he's done before or would do or whatever. And it's almost like with my daughter's boyfriend being the one sitting on the bed, because if you think about it, you're taking more of a controlled stance when you're standing, because you're trying to be superior, you're trying to be in control, in charge. And when you're sitting down, you're getting on someone's level, like you want to reason with them, you know what I mean? So you're not like, I'm above you. It's like, we're on the same level here, like there's an understanding type energy. That's what I was feeling with that. And because in the dream, the one who sat on the bed woke me up. And if you think about it, in real life, actually, my daughter's boyfriend did wake me up to a situation. It's not that I didn't know the information. I didn't know what these people are capable of, their past, and blah, blah, blah. It's not that I didn't know that, because I did. But I got information about these people. Even if I was picking up on it, I'd get confirmation of what I was saying. I'm just saying, and I'm going to get to that. But I would, because he was talking to them, I would get the information, like what they were doing and stuff. And I'm like, okay, so it's almost like a little informant without knowing it. Because it wasn't intentional. It wasn't like he was ratting anyone out or anything. It was just, the conversation, it came up in different conversations, and not with just him, it came up with that country kid too. It's like, okay, well, that's how I pieced all that together. So don't worry, no one's going to break into the house, no one's going to do anything like that. That's not it. And I did hear, because I had heard a message, I think it was from TJ's mother, that said, you're on your own now. And he technically is. A lot of things have been going wrong for the kid because he had the choice to go down the right path and make the right choices, and he wasn't at all. I said there was a significance with a vehicle. It could be a manual, like a standard vehicle. Well, his mother had a standard vehicle. This kid doesn't have a license. And in prior messages, I had said, I always knew there was a problem there, and I wanted to keep, my kids and certain people away because it's either guilty by association or getting wrapped up in a bad situation. Because I wasn't thinking that TJ was going to physically harm them. It was just being part of, why involve yourself in a bad situation when you don't have to? You know what I mean? Listen to yourself ultimately. But that's where that bad feeling was coming in. But I said there's a significance with the vehicle. I also said prior, I don't remember how many readings ago, but it was within the last week, where I said, I caught you while driving, because I wrote that down and it was like kind of a squiggle thing. Well, he's been driving without a license, and I literally saw him drive by the house. He like revved up the shitty exhaust or whatever, and I'm like, that's a problem. That's a big fucking problem. Well, the cops caught him while driving, and his ass is in jail right now, and it will be because he broke bail conditions from his prior. So from his prior whatever charges and shit. And before I found that out, because I got that confirmation this morning, because I kept saying, stay away, there's a problem there. I don't know if it's drunk driving, what the fuck it is, but I just know that there's a problem. Well, there's the problem. And I also had heard it's almost over. It's over now. That problem has been eradicated because he's gonna be sitting in jail for a while, for a minute. I don't wish that on anyone, but sometimes that's the wake-up call that people need. I don't know if he'll get the help that he needs. I hope that he does, but as I don't wish anyone ill will, I'm just saying, I wasn't like, basically, if my kids watch this or anything, I wasn't, and I told my daughter's boyfriend this morning. I was like, see, I told you, this is why I gave you that warning, because I knew. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I kind of did in a sense, because I said everything. It just was randomly. It wasn't all together. And because I don't know, I knew there was going to be a problem. I just knew it. And I didn't want them involved. And I was like, now you understand. And he's like, yeah, like, you were right. And it's not me going, ha ha ha, in your face. It's, I'm glad that you see that my warnings were correct, because I say things for a reason. That was the point of that confirmation. It wasn't to be like in your face. It was, like, please listen to yourself. And if I get a bad feeling again, maybe pay attention. That's where that was coming in. Yeah, so he's in jail. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention before I really get into this reading, I don't know, there's lots and lots of regret here in multiple situations. I feel like there's people in my own life who are regretting the fact that they didn't believe in me. They didn't believe the things I was saying. They, like, I should have believed you. I want to say, if you're tied to me in any way, you were a friend, family member, even my own children, whatever, whether you're a close family, extended, doesn't matter. If you really didn't, if you thought I was nuts, shame on you, but I'm just saying, because that's me and I'm not nuts, but if you just didn't believe, like if you thought it was just lies or there's a lack of understanding there, I don't blame you. I don't fault you. A lot of the things that happen, like the information I get, it is hard to wrap your head around sometimes, especially if you're new to it, if you don't understand, because the gifts that I have are very strong, and they're a lot stronger than I ever anticipated, because I knew that I was gifted, but I just didn't know how much. And my gifts have gotten stronger over time because of the crazy energy. But I also want, the reason why I'm bringing this up is I just want to say, if anyone feels bad about not believing me personally, I do personally forgive you for that, because I understand that it's not an everyday thing. Like, you know what I mean? You don't come across it like every day. Not every person can do this. I mean, everyone has the capabilities when it comes to their intuition and things like that, but we're all gifted in different ways if we tap into that side of ourselves. But some people are more gifted than others, and it's just because of elevation, lessons learned, cycles, lifetimes, stuff like that. You know what I mean? There's a lot to it, and it's not always easy to wrap your head around, which is probably why I was talking about conspiracy theories and aliens and, you know, like, stuff like that, that mind-blowing type stuff, because this is kind of mind-blowing too to some people. But I forgive you guys if you didn't believe, and I thank everyone who stuck by me through all of this, even, you know, the learning curve and everything, because it really is a learning curve. I'm still learning. Like, I don't know everything. I really don't. And the second someone sits there and says they know everything, they need to sit the fuck down and rethink a few things, because we never know everything. That is, like, literally impossible. It is impossible. So we're constantly learning, growing, evolving, no matter what we're doing. Like, think about your career path. So you're just starting out. It's your first day on the job. You're going to have training, right? People are there to tell you protocols and train you to do this, that, and the other. Some people have to go to school to learn their craft or whatever, but it's a learning curve, and over time you get better at it. It's the same thing with psychic gifts, mediumship, all of that. It gets easier and you get better at it over time. When this hit me really fast, and it's funny because before that crazy energy came in, when I was being bombarded with energies, which this is what I'm getting to, I had heard, sorry I had to wake you up so fast. Like, wake up, wake up, wake up. And I was like, because I heard that from my kid's father's grandmother, Deed. She said that to me, like, sorry I had to wake you up so fast. And spirit woke me up really, really fast. Like I said, I always knew I was gifted in some way. I just didn't really know to what extent. And it came on so sudden for a reason, to show people and to get information out, because there are problems around with different people in different situations, and there is an issue. I'm just being direct, like Spirit said. There is an issue when it pertains to my kid's father. I don't know exactly what that issue is, but it's a personal thing. Yeah, it's a personal thing. He's not going to harm me. It's not that. He's not going to... There's none of that. It's an individual issue with him. And it needs addressing. Because his grandmother has been trying to talk to him in the dream space, actually, for many years now. And I know that he deals with things that he doesn't... Like, there's a lot of things he doesn't want to face that he's gone through. Just in many areas in his life. And one of the things being the death of his grandparents. Family discord. I'm gonna cry. Shit. You know, family issues, relationship issues, which a lot of relationship issues for him, no matter who these people are with, they do stem from underlying issues from his past that he hasn't resolved. It's not an easy thing to resolve. It really isn't. It takes a lot of work, and it's almost like I'm just going to keep my head down, keep doing what I'm doing, and just push it away kind of thing. Because there's also some... Should I even say this on here? Yeah. Because this isn't like... Alright, I'll get to this in a minute. Because this is coming in. Like with him, there are some thoughts in his head that aren't pleasant. And when I was being bombarded with energies, there was a combination of people that I was picking up on when it comes to some dark thoughts, and some of them were his. And he knows it. And some dark thoughts actually came from my son, too. And my son has actually openly told me about some of this stuff. So I was like, okay, yeah, that I can kind of see where that would come in. Like that was you. And I'm not going to go into detail on what these thoughts are because he knows I know and he knows what they are. And it's not important for the public. So that's a private thing. I just want to thank you. But one thing I am going to mention is some of the trauma, because I was talking about there were some men around who deal with PTSD. There is someone who was in the service who's dealing with that because of a traumatic event, survivor's guilt type stuff. But I do know that my kid's father, because this his grandmother saying this, it's like, you know, it's time to face your shit, basically. There was some traumatic events that happened in his life that he's having trouble with. It's like a low level PTSD, but it's there. You know, he was part of the cleanup crew for 9/11. That's very significant, and I've said that in a prior reading. Didn't know what it meant, but that's tied to him in multiple ways. It's tied to him because that's Walter, his grandfather's birthday. But that's also, he was part of that tragedy. He went down and he was only 18 years old. When you think that you can handle everything, you're still pretty young-minded. He saw a lot that why am I gonna cry? I just want to say it's okay to cry, but someone's getting emotional over this, but he saw a lot. He doesn't like to admit it, doesn't like to talk about it, and that's fine. But I think he does need, he needs that outlet, because it's coming from his grandmother. Okay. Get me out of the sad stuff, please. Well, there's nothing happy about this message. I'm just saying, because I wasn't even going to say this. They just, like, hello. But yeah, that's where the personal issues are coming in. But another traumatic thing was his first rescue call when he worked for United Rescue was going to pick up his dead grandmother. She really wishes that didn't happen. She really wishes that didn't happen. But it's weird because I'm being reminded of this. The night before she passed, him and I, because we were dating at the time, went to her house because he used to get groceries for them and help them and stuff, like his grandparents. And I think we brought her groceries. So we weren't there very long, but any other time we were there, you know, she would just, you know, give him a hug. She never hugged me or anything because we were like brand new at the time. And it's getting hard to breathe. Like we were newly together. And that night, she said goodbye. She hugged me, she told me she loved me, and she hugged him a little tighter, and she told him the same thing. And I can't remember everything she said, but she literally, like, subconsciously, she knew she wasn't gonna make it, and she did say goodbye. She said goodbye. A lot of people don't get that type of goodbye, but she did. She said goodbye. So she definitely left on good terms, even though it was difficult. It's like what happened after that, she wished never happened. Like, especially for him. And for her daughter, you know, it's like you never want your family to see you in a situation like that, you know? But yeah, that's where those issues are coming in, and that's stuff that he needs to deal with. And there's more in there, but it's not public. It doesn't need to be. But that's also one thing I want to say is that she died of emphysema. But anyways, what I want to say is that's another. Oh shit. shiitake. That's another reason why Andrew Whiting has been around him. They were good friends, and he committed suicide. That's why I keep seeing school or something to do with, because I think it was, I don't know if he was outside or where he was, but he didn't get the help that he needed, and it's not because he didn't have the support. It's not that he didn't have people that cared. And it's almost like his father's in the same situation. Like, there are people that cares, and he knows it. It's just hard to talk sometimes, you know? It's like, you don't want to talk about that crap because you want to cry. You don't want to get in touch with your feelings and stuff. He's around him, like, it's almost like rooting him on, like, you can get through this. You can get through this. Like, don't succumb to the darkness, ultimately. So he's still your good friend, you know? Still his good friend. Ooh, ow. It's making like my kidney area hurt and stuff. Kidney punches. Okay, so this is still from my kid's father. You don't have kidney issues, is what I want to say. I did hear lay off the sauce, but regardless of that, when you get like a kidney punch and it really hurts, it's not stones or anything for you. That's your grandfather going, I'm here. He's punching you in the kidneys. And it's usually when, I don't know if it's when you have certain thoughts or when shit's going kind of for you, that's when he comes in, because he's very stern. Like, it's kind of man up energy, but it's not, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like to me. Like, you can handle this kind of thing. I don't know. You'll get through this. You can handle this. Whatever's going on, you can handle it. Things will improve. You just got to take care of you. I also just heard, stop worrying so damn much. It's like, you don't worry about the things that are out of your control. Focus on today and control the things that you can control. You can't control people. You can't control outcomes. Change is okay. Change is okay. It's okay to make positive changes. Stuff like that. But anyways, are we done with that for now? Yeah. What I was going to say was, during that crazy energy for me, I was getting bombarded with a bunch of energy, spirit, people, all kinds of stuff. And it all happened for a reason, because it was basically just thrown right in my face, personally. But I didn't know how to decipher it all, because it was just like, oh my gosh, it's kind of all coming at me, you know? Well, in this last reading that I did yesterday that I posted, when 3 people came through and they bombarded me, they just were like, do, do, do. That happened on purpose, on camera, to show some people, not all people, to show certain people that, you know, this is, what I do isn't always easy, because sometimes that does happen, where it can be overwhelming at times for me, not just for the people around me, but for me. And it can be painful, it can be difficult, it can be confusing as fuck, especially when it's multiple things coming in at once. So it was almost like not only a reminder, but to show people that, you know, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of strength, it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of mental thinking power. I don't know, because you gotta figure out what goes where. And if you don't know these people and they're just going doo, 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 you go, what? I don't know. What the fuck is this? I don't know who it's for. Is it all for one person? Like, you know, it can get like that. I mean, it wasn't as overwhelming in the recent video from yesterday, but that was just 3 energies. Imagine being bombarded by countless, every stupid person around you, people messing with you, bad intentions and spirits, and it's just like, it makes you want to crawl into a hole and just hide. But you can't hide from it, I'm just saying. And I was protecting myself at the time. It's just, it all happened for a reason. It all happened for a reason. And I heard it was a test for some people, not for me. It was a test. Like, who's really there for you? Who really cares? Who's supportive? And some people passed the test and some people did not. And only you or whoever will know who passed what said test. Because I feel like, what is that saying? Because I'm being reminded of it. True friends are the ones that aren't just there when everything's going right. They're the ones that are there when everything's going wrong. You know, when you're at your weakest point, when you need someone the most, and they're still there, and they want to help, no matter if they understand what's going on or not. Those are the people that truly care about you. Those are true friends, and it's not just friends that bailed on me personally, and maybe this has happened to some of you. It's not just friends, it's family too. Because I did it alone. I did all that alone. And, I mean, yeah, I spoke to a couple people here and there, but they didn't believe me, and I knew it. Like, the way that they would look at me when I would say things, they couldn't wrap their head around it. And I have no resentment towards anyone for that, because like I said in the beginning, I don't judge anyone, or I understand why, you know, it would be confusing and why people would just be like, I don't know, you know what I mean? But that wasn't the point of the test. They weren't there for me in a time of need. My mother was, actually, and I was scared of her for a while, and it had nothing to do with her. It was just everything coming at me, and some of the problematic people who, they have issues with their family, and they do have like shitty moms and dads and whatever. Like, I don't know, there's some people who've gone through some really crappy stuff, and the way that some of the messages were coming in, it was like, your mom's gonna do this to you, your mom's stealing from you, your mom, you know, my mom, I knew that one wasn't for me because I'm not even around her, for one, but why would she steal from me, and what the fuck would she steal, you know what I mean? But it was things like that. But if we go back to TJ, before his mom passed, you know, she was obviously his guardian, and with his disability checks and stuff, she did take more than she should have, and he would always tell people she steals from him. So that was like thoughts for him and his situation, and other people too. So, but it was coming in as my mom. And when you're learning, you go, is it my mom or is it someone else's mom? Who the fuck is this? You know, because I didn't know who it was for. And if you tap into someone who has mental issues, that's a rough roller coaster ride, I'm just saying. Depending on the severity of their mental issues, because there's some people that I was in their energy where they're a little, honestly, I don't know how they're not in a hospital, to be honest. With some of the stuff I was picking up on with certain someones, I was like, whoa, that's scary as shit. So that's where some of that stuff was coming in. Yeah. That's pretty much what that was. So yeah, I just heard, did you pass the test? Did you pass the test? The light just flashed. It's been flashing this morning. Did you pass the test? Or are you going to sit and regret? Because I don't feel like... Because this test isn't... It's almost... It's weird. Did you pass the test? But it's not like just pass or fail. There's room for change in here. So the true test isn't just not being there for someone, because I feel like that part of the test, some people did fail. But it's also taking responsibility for your own actions, owning up to certain things, being honest with yourself and whoever, you know. And it's like, are you, now that you see clearly, or when you do, are you going to do the right thing? Are you going to make positive changes? That's where the true test is. So right now I feel like I'm the teacher going, I just gave you the answer to pass this test. Were you listening? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what that just felt like to me. Because this isn't confusing anymore. I just heard, and it won't be. And it won't be. So I'm going to do with a diamond as well. Shine bright like that motherfucking diamond. But a diamond. Like a diamond in the sky. It's either Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or Shine Your Light, that song, which I really want to listen to again. Listen to it and see what you feel. Like, what does it mean to you? Alright, what are we going to leave this on? Between 2 points. Wait, like a diamond in the sky. Must be someone's soul passing by. No, this is the bright star. Isis. The bright star, the bright mother. So there's ancient Egyptian lineage and history in here, but Isis, the bright star. Because she's the mother. She's Horus's mother. Bright star. Something significant to do with constellations. Because this feels like, I don't know what this is. What the constellation would be, where it's kind of like a V, but it almost looks like a check mark. Like short and long. But there's like a bright star at this point. Whatever that constellation is, because there's like a bright star right here. So there's a really bright star, but there's one that's closer to it, and it's like a little check. And then this one kind of goes like that. I don't know what that constellation is, or if it's part of a constellation. Does somebody do astrology or astronomy or anything like that? Something to do with AAA as well. Which is like roadside assistance. I really did have an internal GPS when I was driving. It was weird because I knew where I was even when I had no clue where I was. Like, I drove all the way out into New Hampshire. Where was I? Begin with a B, I believe. Whatever. Anyways, I was out there. I've never been out there before. Drove all the way around, ended back. Because that was when that's when I wanted to go to my grandfather's grave. And instead of going the right route that I needed to take, I just kept going, and I think that was when I ended up going towards Freiburg instead. And I was like, shit, like I took a wrong turn somewhere, and then it took me into New Hampshire, and I drove through New Hampshire like I knew exactly how to get back to Bethel, because I wanted to get to Bethel, which is where my grandfather's buried, because I wanted to get to his grave. And that was the first time through all of this that I wanted to get there, and I couldn't remember because I'd been there before, and I'm like, why can't I remember? It was almost like that shut down. I'm like, why can't I remember how to get here? It's so easy. And then I drove all the way around, and when Berlin, New Hampshire, when I got out there, I'm like, I was like, oh crap, I don't know where I am. And then I kept hearing, take a left, take a right, go down this route. And I had this internal GPS, and I'm like, okay. So I was driving, and I ended up back in Bethel, and I drove, like, I remember hitting the brakes because I almost passed the cemetery, because I was like, holy shit, there it is. Like, I just took the long way around. And that was the first time during that time that I had gone to see his grave, because I finally found it, because I had attempted a couple times before, and I was like, why can't I remember? And I was so drawn to that. But what's weird too is with the internal GPS thing, I kept going to the river in Waterford too, and that's where a lot of people are leaving me those stupid trinkets. And yes, I do psychometry, but there's nothing good tied to that crap, and I'm not holding it. That box is a fucking joke, and it's not a funny one. But I still have all that bullshit. So anyways, one time when I was at the river and these people, they looked like they were going to drive by. They almost missed the rest area where I was, and like they were looking for me or something. It was weird. And they were from New Hampshire. I don't know if they were from Berlin or not, but they were from New Hampshire. And we were talking, and it was weird because he was saying some of the stuff in my readings, and I don't know if I was being fucked with by them or if that was just a true spiritual thing, because what are the odds of me being in the area where they're from and then them connecting with me at the rest area? There's something in there, I'm just saying, because I couldn't always connect every dot during all that crap, but I always knew that I wasn't wrong. Does that make sense? It's like, you might not have all the information, but it always comes back to, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, that was in there. But I don't know why I'm bringing that up. Could be significant. Because sometimes spirit was leading me around, and other times it was other people. I was walking in their shoes, driving in their shoes, whatever. Driving in their seat. Do you believe? Do you believe in magic in a young girl's heart? Oh, that's funny, because, it's making me think of the night that I went to my friend's house, the twins that I talked about, for the podcast, because that was on a whim. I made meatloaf that night. I actually brought him some, because that's what I do. That's how I show that I care. I feed people. I'm one of those, but I love, that's what I love about cooking, is when people enjoy what I do for them, stuff like this. When you enjoy it, I love that. Like, I want to make people happy and feel good and feel satisfied and warm and fuzzy, whatever. That's just my thing, even if people don't understand. So I had no ulterior motives that night. It was really weird how that happened too, because me and him weren't talking really, because it was kind of like on and off. Like, we didn't really talk much, and randomly it just popped in my head, call him. And I was like call. And I was like, fuck it. So maybe I'm the one with the phone call, just saying that I talked about, but I feel like there's something else to do with the call as well. But just call. So I was like, fuck it, and I called, and I was just gonna shoot the shit, because I was like, I just want to talk, like, haha, joke around, it wasn't anything serious. And he was getting ready, he was preparing to do the podcast with his brother, because he would record around 9 is the time, 9 Eastern Standard Time, because his brother's in California, so there's a 3-hour difference, so they try to time it. And he mentioned, me being part of it, and I didn't know how to set up Zoom and stuff, because I was like, yeah, I could do that, and then I was like, I don't know how to do this, and I really didn't, and I was like, oh, well, I'll just come over. And he's like, oh, okay, because he didn't invite me over. I was just like, oh, I'll come over, we'll do the podcast, and then I'll leave, kind of thing. That's where I ended up seeing his daughter, and she's such a sweetie pie. She really is. She's a beautiful girl, and she actually has abilities. She does. I don't think she understands it, but she does. There's stuff going on with her too, but that's not important right now. Nothing bad, but anyways, it's more internal. So, feeling wise, there we go. It's not like health thing or nothing like that. So I went over there, and he tried to set up the Zoom, and he did set it up for me, but I don't know, with our phones, because we were too close together, it was making weird noises, or I don't know, it was fucked up. So we just ended up using his phone instead of me using my own. And we were out on the front porch under a light bulb, under the outside light, recording. And there was no plans for that video. It was just kind of like whatever comes up. And it was really hard to answer the questions that were being asked, because it pertained to tarot and how, I can't remember, it's like how I do it, because I don't always know how I do it. It just happens. So it was almost like there should have been better questions or a better structure to that video. But regardless, I picked up on personal stuff for him and his brother, and Ben too, which is the other co-host or whatever. And it never got shared. And I got lied to about why, because there was two different reasons as to why. And I feel like the main reason with that is it was too personal. I feel like it was too personal. And that's fine. If that was just said to me, I would have been like, okay, I totally understand. Let's redo it and let's work together and figure out the best way to do whatever this collaboration is, you know what I mean? But it wasn't presented that way. It wasn't handled that way. And it made me feel like it was a waste of time. And that it made me feel like I was taken advantage of, because I just like freely gave information and nothing ever came of it. And nobody took the time to reach out to me and communicate that to me. I had to reach out to them and be like, why isn't this being posted? You know, because I didn't know the reasoning. It might be long gone now. I don't know, because like I said, I was told multiple things, but that's not important. It's not about that video. It's about how it's handled. So yeah, I know everyone was kind of caught off guard by that, and everyone in the situation, but it wasn't planned. It was totally on a whim, because I had this thought in my head, and I called, and then it happened. And I'm really glad it did happen, because even though the video thing was kind of crap, and that, I don't know, Ronnie was acting weird that night. He was. I'm saying his name. He really was. I don't know why. Like, it was just, I don't know why. There was, like, I could really feel, like, a distance, a wall. Like, I almost felt the energy of get the fuck away from me. That's what I kind of felt. And I was trying to make light of it, because I'm trying to show support, but I felt like, with this, and I don't feel like it's because, oh, I don't like you, I hate you. It was, I think he just didn't want me to see something or feel something, and he might have been afraid that I was gonna. I don't know what that was about, but that was the weirdest interaction I ever had with him. And actually, I was sitting on the bed and talking to his daughter, and she was showing me pictures of anime and stuff and whatever else. And we were just talking, and his daughter's so cute. She was like, you're just like a kid. And I was like, oh, thanks. But I tend to pick up on the energies of who I'm around, too. So it's quote-unquote the chameleon energy, but not in a malicious way. So that's how I can be very relatable to certain people, even children, because I can get on your level. And I do enjoy life, and I'm bubbly anyways, but that melted my heart when she said that. But she automatically mentioned zodiac signs to me. And then we started, I mentioned tarot and stuff. And it was just really weird, because I wasn't sure if her father told her that I do this, or if she just knew. I don't know. I really don't know, but I feel like, I don't know. It's almost like she knew somehow, whether she was told or she just knew, because she brought that up. I didn't even bring it up. But when I was sitting there, his mom walked through the front door, and she had a frozen turkey, and she set it by the door, and she looked up and was like a shocked look on her face. And then Ron looked at me and he goes, like, she's nuts. And I was like, what? It was just weird when I connected eyes with her, because I'm like, why are you so shocked that I'm here? That was weird to me. I don't know what it means, but that was weird to me. It's like, oh, I just wasn't expecting to see you. Well, spirit leads me places, just saying. But yeah, that's pretty much what that night was. And actually, that's the last time I spoke to him. We haven't talked since, because one night, I needed someone to talk to, because some crazy fucking shit happened. It wasn't spiritually speaking. It was just like, and it was something I predicted. I was like, oh, someone's going to become like, a problem's going to show up on your doorstep, is what I said. in a reading, and that same day, that later on that evening, a problem showed up on my damn doorstep. And I'm not getting into that, but I was like, oh my gosh. And his brother knows, because I tried to call Ron just to talk, because I was just going, what the shit is going on? You know, like, because I was just going, what the hell? And he didn't answer the phone for whatever reason, so actually his brother did. And I just needed to vent about it, and I wasn't asking for advice. It was just almost like, I just need to just, like, what? Because I was just kind of in shock with what happened. And so just kind of talked it out a little bit. It wasn't a very in-depth conversation, because he didn't really say much, but I just needed to get it out. I needed to talk, because I was just like, my head was spinning with what it was. So that's all that was. Just a friendly conversation. Because I had reached out to multiple people just needing a listening ear, and it's almost like, I was there for you, why won't you be there for me type energy, regardless of them, just speaking in general. It's like knowing who you should be there for, because it's not always reciprocated. There could be many reasons as to why with different people, but, you know, to each your own, whatever it is. That's what I have for you guys. I don't know why I went off on that. It's just, that was another spiritual experience, which is why, I think that's why I said that. Yeah, that's pretty much why that came up, because I was led to say and do whatever, all that stuff, for a reason. That's it. Paint by numbers? Does someone do that, or is there a kid involved that does that? Something significant to do with paint by numbers? There's also someone who did like those little stained glass things, but you put the paint in it, like kids have them, they're clear, and you paint the little butterfly wings or whatever. Did a kid do that, or someone working on those? I don't know what that's about, but that's in here somewhere. It just feels like arts and crafts for some reason. Arts and crafts. That's something you do with little kids, with children. I don't know, I'm just trying to paint you a picture, apparently. Well, maybe that's what someone's doing. But that's what I have for you guys, and we'll see what comes up next. Love you guys. Peace.